by the light of the sun, by the depth of the moon, by the flame of the wand, by the pentacle of earth, I call upon the guides of wisdom, the ancestors of the craft and the holy guardian angel. Guide us now through the stations of the dove and serpent. Reveal what is hidden, that we may transform it into light. Hello, Aries. Welcome to Dove and Serpent Tarot. My name is Paul. If Aries is your sun, moon, or rising sign, this is your tarot card reading. Remember to hit the like button, leave a comment. Consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. These readings are totally free. If there is anything you would like me to pray over, or meditate upon, or send positive energy toward, please let me know. Now, this is a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger, and I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I provide. And remember, Aries, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. And this is the Ace of Cups. This is the first position. It's called the station. This is your sense of self. This is your current identity. This is the tone of your being. And it's the Ace of Cups, right? This is about love. This is about gratitude and radiating a positive energy, okay? This is really the feeling that you are operating from your heart center. This is a wide open heart chakra, right? It's the feeling of universal love and compassion. This is a card of creativity. This is the card that really says, like, you believe that you're living your life from your heart, that you're living the path with heart, right? And this is not the mask that we wear for other people. This is who we truly are in our essence. This is how we see ourselves, okay? How does this resonate with your sense of self right now? Are we operating from a place of love, from a place of forgiveness, from a place of acceptance, from a place of creativity? Are we being authentic, right? Are we expressing ourselves out in the world in a way that feels like it is in alignment with our heart? Okay? I think you're someone with a lot of love to give. You're someone with a lot of feeling. There's a depth in your soul right now. I feel like you're tapped in to that spiritual source of love. Yeah. Let's put this card into a little bit of context. Obviously, we're going to need some more cards here. So we're going to do our Dove and Serpent spread. We've got this, the Six of Cups. Very nice. We have the Ten of Pentacles. We've got an Eight of Cups. Yeah, that makes sense, I think. We have a Nine of Swords. Interesting. We've got a Princess of Wands on the path of the Serpent. We have the Three of Pentacles. We have the Prince of Pentacles, the builder, right? We have a Nine of Pentacles and the Two of Wands. Let's select our mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. This is a random card from the Smith-Waite Tarot. This is the factor infinite and unknown. And we're going to put this right over here with our little sea turtle friend right on top. We're not going to look at that card until the very end. It will tie everything together. It will give us the confirmation that we need at the end of the reading. If at any point during this message you feel like you might know what that card could be, put your prediction in the comments down below. Okay? Let's use our intuition. Let's use that heart. Let's use that feeling, right? I think you're somebody that trusts your feelings. Yeah, you do. You operate from that heart center. You trust what your heart tells you. Interesting here, we don't have any major arcana cards. That's not to say that Spirit's not in the building, Spirit's not in the room, or that Spirit is not in your life. You may be feeling as if we kind of have been abandoned by something right now. Spirit is here. Spirit is the table. Spirit is everything. Spirit is all around you, above you, and in you, and moving through you. Okay? But Spirit wants you to take action. Spirit wants you to take control over your life right now. We see the Destiny card is the Two of Wands, right? That's the card of taking control of our lives. Okay? Putting your your highest will into the driver's seat. So we've got fire. We've got quite a bit of water, right? We've got our air, and we've got a lot of earth. A lot of earth energy. So it's heavy on the water, heavy on the earth. Okay? And that is kind of like water and earth is about putting our feelings into actions, about having the feeling and knowing what to do about it. Right? How does your feeling, how does your emotion, how does your depth, how does your real inner self and your soul direct your behavior? Is it directing your behavior? Is there something else directing your behavior? Right? So our second card is the Six of Cups. This is the battle. This is where your task or your quest is revealed. This is where we find conflict right now. Okay? This is a challenge for you. This is a card of family or community. Okay? It may feel that you may not feel so accepted by life right now. You may be feeling that the people around you that are supposed to love you, it feels like there's some kind of a blockage there. This is the card of family, right? I kind of feel like we're struggling to feel like we fit in. We're struggling to feel like we are one unique cup in this circle of cups. That our experience, that our feelings matter in this context. So you might be feeling as if in some kind of a dynamic, whether it's with family or friends, maybe it's at the workplace, maybe it's with a romantic partner, maybe you feel as if your feelings are not being taken into account, that the way you feel about life, about things, about the issues, are not, your feelings are not being respected or acknowledged. Okay? And it may be that we're sort of done not having kind of like an emotional voice. You're done like hiding your emotions away. You want to establish harmony here. You want to feel like you belong. You want to feel like you're accepted for who you are, and not being marginalized or pushed out to the periphery of this sort of group. Maybe it's a family thing. Maybe we feel like we're kind of the black sheep. Maybe we're having a hard time really fitting in with the people that we're around right now. Maybe this is a work thing, and we really want to feel that there's a personal connection, but we're having a difficulty. We feel like we're different from everybody, you know? And you're different, you're unique, but that's part of your value. And so maybe you're having a hard time accepting your uniqueness as a bonus, as a benefit, as a good thing. Okay? Where is your courage being tested right now? And what are you learning through this conflict with this family dynamic thing? Okay? Or this feeling of not fitting in, or not belonging, or not being accepted. Okay? Now, our next card is down beneath the surface. This is the Ten of Pentacles. This is the hidden self, the unconscious, the seat of your deep feelings and secret longings, right? The Ten of Pentacles is a card of wealth. And your private sort of experience, your inner fears maybe, or this sort of landscape, it's all about wealth. It's all about value. So again, kind of echoing this idea that we want to feel like we're a valuable asset. We want to feel like we're worth something. We want to feel like we're part of the team, that we're accepted, that we're loved for who we are, not for what we can provide. Okay? And if we're in a relationship now, or a family dynamic, or a work dynamic, we want to feel like we matter regardless of like how much paperwork I can do in a day, or how many jobs I can complete, or how many sales I can make, you know? That we're valued for who we are and for our inner self, right? This is the card of wealth, asking you the question, do you value yourself? Do you value your own uniqueness? You have a different way of looking at the world. You have a different way of feeling the world, yeah? And I think that we're ready to sort of bring our true value out into the open. So I feel like you're taking your command here. You're like, this is a very empowering feeling I'm getting. Like you know your worth. You know your value. You know the wealth of your soul, right? And I think that we're finding ways to bring this out into the open, to live our truth, to be authentic, really, right? To be authentic. We have some old patterns back here with the Eight of Cups. This is the dwarf position. The old patterns, the drag of the past, and the residue of old karma. Okay? The Eight of Cups. It's a lingering shadow, an influence that still holds sway. And I feel like this was a time where you weren't valued. It's an old wound, okay? And this might be a lot of events, a lot of things that have happened in our life that sort of taught us that we weren't very valuable, made us feel as if we weren't cherished or appreciated or loved if we didn't behave a certain way or perform a certain way or reach certain goals or do certain things, to please other people. This could be a very people pleaser kind of energy because we want to feel the love. We want to feel value. I want to feel safe. I want to feel love. I want to get the hug, right? So I got to do the right things in order to get that. And so to me, that feels like it is. It feels like it's a very strange thing to go through as a child, And I feel like it probably happens first in childhood, and maybe it happens more as we get older. But it's a pattern. It's something that repeats and repeats. So it could be that we're sort of locked into that. We're locked into that cycle where we have to sort of overperform or conform in order to get the love of the group, the love of the family, love of the community. That we have to try to be like everybody else in order to fit in, and then they will love us. But what we're starting to, I think, experience now, at least through these cards, is that by being our authentic self, by letting your freak flag fly, by being the weird you, right? That's your value. And people are going to love you for you. And not for how well we can blend in with everybody else. Your uniqueness is your value, right? That authentic self. That's what we need to. That's what we need to begin accepting and loving and expressing and living that, right? So this is, this is that old wound, anyway, right? And I think it was a withholding of love, unless you met certain conditions. So it's a conditionality on what should be unconditional love and valuing of a person now becomes conditional. Okay, and that brings us up here to our 9 of Swords. This is the giant, the driving force. This is the impulse that's propelling you forward. And this to me feels like a rebellion against the cruelty of life. I feel like you're someone who, you don't like bullies, right? You don't like, I feel like you have a real, like it really fires you up when people are bullying others, right? Or when there's anybody that's like being unkind to children or something, that really gets you angry, This is sort of the direction of your creative energies. This is kind of your ambition, and this might be your guiding light. As difficult as this card is, this isn't an easy card. It's a 9 of Swords. It's cruelty, it's pain, it's despair, it's suffering. I feel like your ambitions now, what really is motivating you in a way, is your ability to heal others. I feel like you're able to recognize and empathize with the pain of other people, and that gives you, I feel like you're an empath probably. You probably do some kind of healing work or energy work or something like this, because your impulse is to save people, to help people, to rescue people. Maybe you're a first responder, maybe you're a firefighter or an EMT or a doctor or a nurse, an ER nurse, an ER doc, whatever it is. I feel like you're kind of at the front line. You're helping people that need the most help. Okay? And I feel like this is a power that's in you that's ready to manifest. And I think the virtues that you really need to embrace here with this card are those kind of the painful truth sometimes that maybe the people around you now, if they have a conditionality on their love for you, maybe they are not your people. Sometimes this is the card of the painful truth. So it could be that we're waking up and we're ready to embrace that painful truth that says, if the situation I'm in now is not accepting me for who I am, I need to get the hell out of here. What am I doing staying here? Okay. Now, I think the despair is usually it's usually like a curtain of despair, a fog of despair that we have to go through. And as we go through that, we grow. Okay? It's sort of, it's something that is prompting you to move. If you have, if you're sitting at your desk and you have these swords dangling above your head from these little thin wires, you're not going to want to stay at your desk. You say, I'm going to move. I'm going to get up and go somewhere else, anywhere but here, right? Because that's that's enough to really bring about tremendous anxiety, right? Living under the sort of, living under the uncertainty of whether you're going to get, the carrot or the stick, the reward or the punishment, the love or the refusal of love, the withholding of love. That's a terrible way to exist, right? Nobody wants to do that. So we move on now to the next position in our spread, which is the imago, the image of your future self, the next step on your path, the seed of tomorrow. Okay, and it's the Princess of Wands, a beacon of what you're becoming. So we have to know how we align our present actions to this emerging destiny. What choices will shape this version of yourself? Now, this is somebody who is being utterly themselves. This is somebody who is a radiant flame, a fire. Some would even say a firecracker. This is somebody who's letting their freak flag fly, right? This is somebody that is feeling this burning passion for life and is out there doing the things that interest them, being who they are. This is an authentic soul, right? This is a bright and radiant spirit out there in the world, being themselves, not trying to dim their shine, not trying to turn the flame down on your lamp, not trying to make ourselves smaller, right? We're searching for things that are going to interest us. We're searching for things that will inspire us. This is an energy that wants to be inspired, And I think that we have to say, okay, well, what are those choices that are going to help me align with this person, the person that feels confident to be out there living my life? I feel like there's clothes in your closet that you really want to wear, but you feel like, no, they're too loud. They're too bright colors. It's too, I want to wear them, but I just, I feel like I should just wear normal clothes, I feel like it's something like that going on. This is the card that wants to be themselves. And we have to start making choices that are going to align us with this version of ourselves. This is a version that's free to be who they are, right? Free to express themselves the way they want to express themselves. You can paint any picture you want. You don't have to paint what you think other people are going to like. Paint the image, throw the paint on the canvas the way you want to do it. Okay? Now, we're going to talk about the path of the serpent. We got some more cards over here. By the way, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do. These readings are totally free, right? They don't cost anything. So the next card is the Three of Pentacles. This is the position of the persona, okay? How you present yourself to the world. This is the mask that we wear in the greater theater of life. It's the card called work. And this is kind of like the style and the energy of your public self. And this is the mask of someone who feels like if they do the right amount of work, or if they like this is somebody that is fitting into the group because of what they offer. So this is somebody that is feels like they always have to bring something to the table. Feeling like if I'm going to go, I have to always have an offering. It's almost like we buy our way in, right? And so if this is a work thing or a family thing, this is like, want to come over and be with the family because I'm going to come over and fix something, or I have a gift, or I'm bringing something, or there's some kind of purpose, almost like we have to pay our admission. Okay, this is the card of cooperation. This is the card of, I think, working very well with other people. But again, it sort of betrays that feeling like if I'm not working on something, if there's no purpose for me to be here, then there's no purpose for me to be here. It's like I don't belong here unless I'm contributing something, unless there's a reason why I'm showing up. Does that make sense? So we feel like we're only as valuable as what we're bringing to the table. And I don't know if this is really serving your higher purpose. Okay? And I wonder if this is not the role that you really feel you want to play in life anymore. That we're only as valuable as what we can produce or what we can do for everybody else. Now, I don't know if this is truly the way other people are interacting with you, but this is the lens through which you're seeing things. Okay? This is a snapshot of the landscape of your soul right now. And your general energy is this feeling like I've got to always be demonstrating my value. If I show up, I have to have something positive that will benefit other people so that, so that they'll let me in the door kind of thing. Right? And this is our feeling. I don't know if that's really the way other people experience you, but it feels like that's what we're projecting to the other world. Like, hey, you're going to want me on your team because I'm really good at kind of hitting the ball or kicking the ball or whatever, right? So rather than people accepting you because they like your company and they like who you are and they want to be with you, it's like we feel that they're letting us in only because we brought something or we can do something or we're capable of something. And so it seems more practical than it does like kind of, heartfelt, right? Now, the next card is kind of a shadow card, right? This might be aspects of ourself that we really, I don't know that we're hiding them or denying them or repressing any of these energies. This is the card of the builder, okay? I feel like you are a very practical person. I feel like you do have a lot to offer everybody. And so that's sort of the conundrum, because now we're not sure if we're being valued for what we can produce and what we can build, or if we're being valued for who we are. So this is kind of like, let's embrace this part of ourselves that says, yeah, we are good at doing things. People want you on their team because you are good at doing things. And so we have to think of context in a way, right? If this is a work thing, well, of course, people want to hire you because you're good at the work you do. You're a good builder or whatever, you're a good worker. You show up every day, you're on time, you're reliable, and people like that. Are people going to love you if you don't show up on time? Yeah. Are people going to value you if you sometimes aren't very good at communicating with them, or if sometimes you fail, or you don't produce anything, or you go through difficulties, challenges, and issues in your personal life? Are people still going to love you? Yeah. Are they going to keep you employed at their job, at their company, if you don't show up on time and you don't always do a good job? Probably not, So everything is sort of relative. Everything is contextual. But I think embracing this energy, this builder kind of energy, which the shadow aspect of this, I guess, or the projection of this, would be that that people only value us for what we are producing. But I feel like we are only approaching people with a demonstration of what we can produce, and so it's kind of almost like a self-fulfilling prophecy. Does that make sense? So I think the way we set this up for ourselves, because this is somebody that is like the builder energy, somebody that shows up, performs their tasks, never gets out of line, never does anything different, never speaks up, never changes course, never questions the authority, just I clock in, I do my work, I clock out. So in some ways, we're keeping ourselves contained, we're keeping ourselves reserved, and then we go home and we wonder why, nobody wants to be my friend at work. But we're not extending that energy. We're kind of just being the model employee. And then that's the way we're going to be treated. And then we wonder why we're treated like that. Okay? It's a very good quality. But I think we need that sense, and that's why the obstacle for you is the feeling included, feeling like you're part of the group, feeling like you belong, feeling like you're valued for something other than what you're producing. Okay? So I'm not trying to blame you for anything, but I'm seeing that there is this kind of projection. We feel like we're only valued for our work. And then, of course, but that seems like that's kind of all we're offering. But I think that's changing right now. Okay? I really do. The anxiety, the challenges, the dread, the fear, the worry, the concern, this is the specter. It is the 9 of Pentacles. It is the card called gain. And gain emerges as, as the specter that haunts your steps. What do you fear becoming? How might this fear contain the key to your liberation? Okay? Because this is the card of I'm producing things, I'm gaining, there's progress, right? That they'll keep me around as long as I keep, making money for the company or whatever, right? But I think like that's probably true. And because that is true, a company is only going to keep you around if you're making money for them. That's the simple fact, right? If we're not, then we're going to be gone. Let's not test that theory. But what we should do then is put in more of an effort to cultivate our personal relationships and our personal connections so that there is something that exists beyond just the work itself. Does that make sense? So the fear is that our only value is in what we're able to provide for others. So we're seeing ourselves as merely a resource, a human resource, okay? Rather than someone that is valued for being who they are, valued for being a spirit, an entity, a unique individual, right? A soul, yeah. So the fear there is that our relationships will vanish as soon as we stop producing anything, as soon as we stop doing the work or contributing to the profit of the company, let's say, for instance. Once we have nothing left to offer, we will be discarded. And that's sort of the fear, right? And that may very well be true in certain circumstances. But because if that's all we're presenting ourselves as, we have to bring something else to the table. We have to let people see our uniqueness. So if you're hiding yourself away, people aren't really getting to know the real you. And I think that's where we get our Two of Wands here at the end, your destiny. The culmination, the fruit of your labors, your fully realized self, right? It's a card of dominion. It shows the path that you're weaving, right, with every choice that you're making. And what this card is control, self-control, our ability to influence our destiny, our ability to have our hands firmly on the wheel and steer our life in the direction that we want it to go. If we want more intimate connections and more feeling of family, more of a sense of belonging, we have to steer the car in that direction. We have to go out and demand what we want from life by being ourselves, by expressing ourselves in an authentic way and opening up and letting people see who we are. We have that choice to make. Okay? And so I think that there is kind of a pattern, or there is some kind of old thing here, this past thing that needs to be healed, or it needs to be untangled or let go of, so that we feel powerful enough to be ourselves. And so it's kind of like we need to claim a sense of independence. And we need to just allow ourselves to be who we are, who we want to be, express ourselves in our unique and authentic and in our own weird way, right? And that will connect us more strongly with other people. Once we love ourselves, once we're independent and we're committed to ourselves, that's when those relationship opportunities are going to show up. Not the other way around. We don't get the intimate relationships first, and then we start getting in touch with our true self, loving ourselves and expressing ourselves. Because it is you being a confident, expressive, unique person that's going to attract all those relationships anyway. You see? So I like this card because it is a card of kind of saying, like, I'm just going to be myself. I don't need anybody else. I'm going to be who I am no matter what. People don't like me, fine. But then by having that attitude and by doing those things, making those choices, people are going to love you. Because people are going to see the real you. Now, let's look at the mystery card. This is position 11. This is the guide, right? The inner self, higher self, the teacher, the wisdom that waits to lead you forward. Now, what do we think this card's going to be? I want to see maybe the Aries energy, right? Your superpower card. That confidence, that individuality, that steadfastness, that uniqueness. Maybe the Empress. Maybe it'll be another Six of Cups. Maybe the Universe card. If you have a prediction, put it in the comments. Let's see what we have. A King of Swords. Well, what does this card whisper to your soul, right? The guidance of this card is kind of revealing this, revealing the choices, right? And the truth is that it all depends on your choices. It's all perspective. It's all relative. And it's kind of saying the way we're looking at life, right? Our perspective, our unique perspective is sort of creating the reality. So we understand that our thoughts are creating the world around us. And if our thoughts or our choices are dictated by this kind of thing, then this is the kind of world we're going to experience. If we start operating from this feeling, with this sort of objective, right, then our world is going to start looking like this. So the King of Swords is reminding us, because remember, there's no major arcana energy here. So Spirit's saying it's all about your perception. It's all about how you're looking at life. We may be still back here looking at life this way and feeling like life is just kind of dark and dreary and conditional, and I'm not accepted, I'm not loved, except for what I bring to the table. Well then, if that's what we believe, that's going to be the reality. But if we start operating from this independence and this self-confidence and telling ourselves, no, I'm worth way more than that. That I exist for a reason, that I am valuable regardless of what I can offer other people. Okay? We start having this intense feeling of self-worth and valuation. That's going to be our experience of the outside world too. The world becomes what we think it is. Yeah. And that's the message from your higher self right now. Your guide is saying, we got to change the way we're looking at things, the way we're interacting with people, the starting point. We're starting from this point, and that's already dooming the outcome. We got to start from this point. And then that's going to change and influence the world. The world around is going to change, and your experience of the world will change. Okay. Now we're going to do an extended reading. Okay, we'll do some oracle cards. We'll do an I Ching hexagram. Because this is a bonus reading for you, Aries, we're going to go straight into the extended. Yeah, but if you want to join the channel and become a member of the channel and have access to all of the extended readings for all the zodiac signs, there's a link in the corner. There's a link down below in the video description. New readings for Aries usually on Mondays and Fridays. Again, this is a bonus reading, and an interesting one too. Yeah. Be sure to watch both of your other readings. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. Leave a comment and let me know where in the world you're watching from. I want you to know that you're the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. I thank you and I love you. And we're all in this together. All right, let's get into the extended, shall we? We're going to do an I Ching hexagram. We're going to do oracle cards, tarot cards. We're going to leave all this stuff here so that we can see how the energy develops and what new details come through. Your hexagram today is hexagram 61, the truth within. Look in the mirror, It's to really, looking in the mirror here, finding the truth within, understanding and accepting and acknowledging and not denying your own value. Looking in the mirror and saying, you are worth it. Yeah, I like that. Right off the bat, that's amazing. We're going to do, let's see, hexagram 61. We're going to do the translation and commentary. This is my personal translation and commentary. And what we have here is the truth within. Above the lake there is wind. The noble one, accordingly, deliberates the legal process while delaying execution. The truth within. For piglets and fishes, it is auspicious. It's worthwhile to cross the great river. It's worthwhile to persevere. Give a lot of thought to what you might do, and delay putting it into action. Consider the good of it all. It benefits you to commit to something and persist. So maybe, in this situation that we're seeing as being an obstacle or a challenge, if we feel like we're not being accepted where we are, and we feel that there is these looming daggers up above our head, we might be compelled to run the opposite direction, to just get the hell out of there, right? But maybe the I Ching is saying that, look, let's first take a good look at ourselves and see which lens or which starting point we're viewing the situation from before we make any decisions. Okay? Because then we can make decisions that are really going to be authentic, and they're going to be in alignment with our truest self, and they're going to be decisions that are going to help us to unfold our destiny in the proper way. The truth within is a limited view, like a private pool, personal and intense but narrow. We still need the overview and other perspectives before making important decisions. So it's kind of like saying, like, we're looking in the mirror, we only see how we see ourselves. We're not noticing how other people see us. Other people perhaps see you as a very productive and effective and reliable person, but you're so much more than that, but they don't get to see that. And once you recognize that you see your value and you see, gosh, why can't other people see what I see in myself? You have to show them, right? You have to demonstrate that. Reality and alternative points of view are learned by getting beyond or outside of ourselves. It is a great accomplishment when inner truth alters archetypal forces within the psyche. The ego's devotion to the work is the means to this end. The superior person carefully differentiates the options and avoids drastic measures. This can sometimes mean don't act until you are sure of all the facts. There is an inner confidence and a subjective truth. Okay? And also when we look at the subjective truth, if we're operating from this point of view, it's no wonder that this is what people sort of see for us or in us. If we're operating from this subjective point of view, then we can expect other people to see that as well. When you love yourself, other people can love you too, right? I think this hexagram is pretty accurate. I feel like that's right on point. We're going to do an angel number as a mystery card. We'll do an oracle of empowerment. This is the sacred journey. I am a brave explorer on a sacred journey. I do not let the expectations of others decide my future. I boldly explore my world to discover destiny. I look to the constellations of my heart to steer me. Yeah, you're steering yourself from your sense of value, your sense of self-worth, not from what these past experiences have taught you about your value or your self-worth, but from your authentic value. The constellations of your heart are going to steer you, not these past things. Don't let these things, these wounds, these traumas, these complexes, this karma, don't let that drive your boat. Don't let that steer the car. Okay. Let's do an oracle of the radiant sun. The submission. Yeah, the submission, where we submitted to that sort of dynamic. Because especially if this happens when we're kids, what choice do we have? You know, I want to get love and affection from my family, so I got to do whatever I need to do in order to get that. And if that means that, you know, you're conforming or you're getting along, you're going along just to get along, or you're doing everything that you think is expected of you because you want to get that affection, because you know if you don't do certain things, that love is going to be withheld from you. So we've submitted to that dynamic. But now we don't have to anymore. That was a long time ago, at least it seems, right? We don't have to submit to that dynamic any longer. Okay, but it's not easy to make this kind of shift. Okay, let's do an oracle of creativity. Preparation. Luck comes most often to the person and the place where preparation, opportunity, and skill meet. We may feel that we have been we've been getting the short end of the stick in a lot of ways, right? But I feel like if we feel like we've been getting the short end of the stick in life, I think that we need to take a look at how we've been presenting ourselves to the world and how we can do things differently. Now, we're not victim blaming. Nothing's your fault. We're not looking for blame. Okay? But the Two of Wands teaches us that we can only control what we do. We can't control what other people see in us. We can't control how other people treat us. We can choose to present a different aspect of ourselves if we want to, or we can choose to just get the hell out of there. okay? But we have to choose to harmonize ourselves with the universe and invoke that luck, that good fortune, okay? And I think very often it's that truth, it's that painful truth of that Nine of Swords that gives us the information we need so we know what choices to make and how we need to behave, how we need to operate right now in order to get the kind of love or the kind of acceptance or whatever that we want. First, it has to be self-acceptance, okay? Let's do an Oracle of Metatron. The boundaries, set them daily. The boundaries, to me, in this position for you, feel like you've put a restriction on your own spiritual fire, right? When we look at this, we see the Princess of Wands underneath, but you've put boundaries on top of that card. In other words, you've put some kind of a restriction, some kind of a limitation on how you express yourself. Because you've been taught, I'm not, if I act that way, if I say these things, if I be myself, then, you know, that's not going to please everybody, and then I'm not going to get the love that I want, right? So we've put boundaries on ourselves. We said, okay, I need to, and sometimes that's good, right? We don't always want to just behave impulsively, right? And then tell people, well, you either take it or leave it, right? But we also don't want to suppress our true nature. Suppress our creativity, suppress our personality, suppress our passion, suppress our fire, just to get people to like us, okay? So that's why the boundaries, they need to be set daily, right? We have to always be revisiting them because we don't want to suppress our own fire. But of course, we don't want that fire to be so obnoxious, right, that nobody wants to be around us. So, you know, anyway, Path of the Serpent, we're going to use the Pamela Smith Tarot, as I like to call it. You have the Page of Cups, you have the 10 of Pentacles, you have the Chariot, you've got another 9 of Swords, that painful truth. The painful truth, understanding our current situation honestly and objectively, is allowing us to make the appropriate changes. Okay, so we know which direction to go. We know how to navigate this situation when we're looking at it objectively. The Chariot really here this is your fortitude, right? This is kind of like saying when you're in service to something higher than just your ego, there's kind of a fortification against what anybody else is up to, what anybody else is doing, right? We kind of develop a thicker skin, and we realize that our soul, our value, our Ace of Cups, our heart, is the Holy Grail. It is the most important thing that exists, and we have to safeguard that. So sometimes the Chariot is saying, if I'm not valued where I am, I need to go somewhere else. Or it's really saying, too, that I need to value myself enough, fully, completely, that it doesn't matter if anybody else values me or not. Okay? And doing that, I think, is it projects out this very rich and vibrant energy that does attract the right people to you. You're repelling the wrong people and attracting the right people. Okay? But first we have to work on that inner fortification. The 10 of Pentacles with the Builder, you know, this is a very interesting combination because we could look at it just as the practical, productive, sort of the builder energy, and you're building something and therefore people like you, right? But I think also what we realize is that we have the ability to build the best life. You got your pets, your plants, your people in here. This is your best life where you belong, where you're accepted, where you're sort of the center of your universe, right? And you have to use your builder energy to say, okay, I'm not going to suppress myself, suppress my fire. I'm not going to submit to this unhealthy dynamic just so I can help somebody else build their best life. I'm not just an ornament in somebody else's life. I want to build my best life. I want to build the life for me. And so we start doing that. We operate from our center, and then we start attracting the right people, places, and things to us anyway. We're getting rid of the bad, we're bringing in the good. But it's up to you to build that through your choices. The Page of Cups is similar to our Princess of Wands. It's fire and water, both princesses here. This is saying that you are letting your emotions, you're not letting them drive the car, but you're giving them a voice. You're saying, I feel a certain way, and that's a valid feeling. And I need to look at that feeling. I need to accept that feeling. I don't have to let it make decisions for me, but I at least need to acknowledge it and have that conversation with that feeling. What are you telling me? What is the information that you're trying to say to me, feeling? You know? And then we understand how to sort of translate that into healthy behaviors, healthy actions, and good decisions. Yeah. Now let's look at our angel number, our mystery card, 2002. Longing, technology, ambition, genius, forward thinking, stress, and depression. You have more control over your life than you realize. Learn and execute what interests you. Turn things around. It gets better with time. There are plenty of friends to make, so chill out, have fun, open up, go outside. If these people don't value you for who you are, take control of your own life and go and do your own thing, and you'll attract the people that do value you. Okay? And that's just by being your authentic self, you will attract people to you that deserve to be with you. So that is the absolute perfect angel number for you right now, 2002. Right? We got to lose the wrong thing in order to gain the right things. Now, I want to thank you for being here. I appreciate you greatly. I love you deeply. And I hope to see you again very soon.